There's a video by, seen a video from Grant Cardone. I watch his content every now and again, and I love his direct approach. I see a bit of myself in what he does in terms of his directness and saying what's on my mind. Gets me in trouble sometimes, but that's just how things are. He talks about, he put out a video talking about eating shit and how sometimes you just got to eat shit to be successful. You've just got to take it on the chin and move along. So I wanted to talk about just a few of the ways how I've eaten shit just in this past year alone, how I've eaten shit. So I wrote some things down just to remind me. I think as part of on any road to trying to achieve something of note, trying to get a bit of success, you're naturally going to have to take some things in the chin, eat shit. It's part of the journey. If you're not willing to, if you don't do that, then I think you're going to hit some problems. So look, I'm going to go through a few of the ways very briefly of how, just in this past year, I've eaten shit. So one of them I listed was, so I partner on my deals that I do. So I tend to joint venture on the deals I do, the property deals I do, the larger development deals. It tends to be a 50-50 partnership with a joint venture partner. Usually they put up the money and I do the deal, do all the work and stuff. Anyway, so one of my JV partners on my deal, there was an issue involved in the deal. Not my fault directly, but he was very frustrated. And there was one occasion in the past year that we were on the phone and he got really angry and started shouting at me on the phone. And, my natural inclination when someone shouts at me is to shout back and up the ante, and be like, are you talking to, and the rest of it, because that's just naturally how I am. But there's a time and there's a place. He was very frustrated, granted, at what was going on. Did he need to shout at me? Hell no. No one should be shouting at you. But sometimes people are frustrated and they need to vent. And I saw that as an opportunity for me to not say anything. He's a lot older than me. And I respect him. And we get along well during pretty much all the time. We get along really well. So he was shouting his head off. And a part of me running through my head was thinking, who the is he talking to? Because I'm not used to having this. And then fortunately the sensible side of me took over and I thought, I'm just going to let him carry on. And I'm going to keep my tone really low and end the conversation on a quiet and a good note. And I did, kind of left the conversation there. And by the way, this was on a meeting to meet him, to meet somebody else. And we got there, it was fine. And it would be with that kind of person, the kind of character he is. He's a bit like that, time that's his sort of character. But it's just, look, I could have jumped up and said, and made it into a thing, or I could have sat back on that occasion and said, not said anything at all, and been fine, and that's what I chose to do. And I think, even though it's not something that's nice, you can sometimes take it on the chin. Doesn't mean you're weak. I mean, actually, in some situations, it can mean you're quite powerful. It puts you in a powerful position because you've got a bit of leverage then. If you know something that pushes someone buttons, you can control the situation. And oftentimes when someone's angry, and this has worked well for me in the past actually, oftentimes when someone's angry and you respond calmly, it kind of changes the tone and the mood. If you respond in an angry way or start shouting back at them, then often it can just exacerbate what's going on. And so that's one. Number two, what have I written down here? Oh, this one's a funny one. This is literally just in the past couple of months. There's a property that I was buying, and it was in negotiations with the owner for months and months, a lot of back and forth. At times, was frankly messing me about, and I wasn't sure whether the deal was going through or not. And this is a good lesson because you've got to stick it out. You don't know if a deal's going through. People can be messing you about. They can be making up excuses, but you stick it out. So I called his phone, his landline. He always answers, and this is at the building that I was buying. Every time he answers the landline, he answers it as 4859, which is so bizarre. I've never called anywhere, and that's how they answer the phone. So every time he'd answer the phone, he'd pick it up and say 4859. And I'd called that place before, and there were only two people there, him and his colleague. And every time he picked it up, he'd say 4859. And his colleague would just say his name. Hi, I'm Steve, whatever his name was. So I called on one occasion. He answers the phone, 4859. I said, oh, hi, mate. I'm going to call him John. Hi, John. I'm trying to arrange this deal now. We just need to finish this off. We need to arrange a completion date for this deal. And he responds, oh, John's not here. And instantly, I was thinking, huh? He's like, yeah, John's not here. He's at home. He's not available today. He's at home. I have spoken to this guy no less than a dozen times, so I know this guy's voice. And he always answers the phone I know the numbers, 4859. And it was so bizarre. And I thought, I carried it on for a bit, so I asked a few more questions. All right, where is he? What is he doing? And he just carried on, acting as if it wasn't him on the phone. It was so weird and awkward. I didn't even address it. I sort of just ended up the call and left it as that. He said, just before it ended up, actually, he said, oh, call back next week. I think it was a Wednesday or Thursday. He said, call back next week. He's in again next week. Call back then. That's when he's back in. I said, fine, yeah, I'll call back next week. So I called back the next day. He answers the phone, 4859. I said, hi, John, it's Anthony. So I didn't give him a chance at all to say it wasn't him. And he responded, oh, you're right, Anthony, blah, 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 blah. And then we spoke for a bit, and then he went into a story about, oh, I think you called yesterday and spoke to Steve. Shut your BS. That was funny. But look, I could have, when I first spoke to him, said, I know it's you, John. Stop pissing me about. Let's get on with it. Or I could have acted how I responded and played along with it, which is, it's so bizarre. Played along with it and not cause an issue because it could have got a bit awkward. Maybe he would have said, pee off, forget the deal, or I don't know. You just don't know. So sometimes, again, just got to eat shit. That's just a small way of just, look, yeah, it might be embarrassing. Someone may take in a mick, just like the previous example I gave you, but oftentimes you've got to be a bit more tactical with it because the end goal is getting a deal done. And for me, that is bigger than everything else. What's the end goal? If it takes someone shouting and screaming at me for me to agree a deal so I can get a deal done and then part ways with them, am I willing to take someone shouting and screaming at me? Yeah, I've got no problems with that. I don't take those things personal, and that's why I can cope with it. If I took it personal and it really affected me, then maybe not. But it's just not within my character to take those things personal. So it's pretty important. Another one. Let's drag it on now. Deal by... Oh, I'm going to go over these too quickly because the video's going on. Deal... Oh, here's the good one. I'm just going to leave this one. I'm not going to do the others because it's going to take too long. This is a pretty good one. Earlier on in the year, probably the early part of January 19-ish, February 2019. So look, we send out hundreds of letters a month to owners in areas that we're interested in. Obviously, local area, Birmingham, others, Sheffield, Manchester, other parts of the Midlands, Bristol. So a bunch of places that we invest in. London. Send it to owners. So we find a site that looks like it could be suitable for development, and then my assistant will get a bunch of letters out every month, chasing these owners up and then following up. Some of these owners have other properties and have estate agents in place or commercial agents in place, and they'll seek advice from them. So I found out through one of my friends that one of the agents he deals with here's a better explanation. Actually, I was speaking to one of my friends that deals with one of these commercial agents, and I was telling him how one of these agents was just a talker, and that he was talking about sending me deals and stuff, and he had potential opportunities, and he hadn't sent me anything. So he said, I'll call. I've done a bunch of deals with him, and he sold stuff for me. So I'll call, and I'll see exactly what deals he's got. So he's right in front of me. He called the guy and said to the guy, look, you're meant to be sending Anthony some stuff. What's going on with that? And his response was along the lines of, owners have come back to me saying, I've had letters from this Anthony, this volume property, this Anthony guy and his assistant, and they're sending letters, and I don't know if they're serious. And so his response to my friend was, I don't think you can buy it. I don't think you can do deals. And this is before I had a website and before I was really pushing out what I was doing specifically. So it's like, I don't think you can do it. I don't think you can do the deal. I don't think you can pull it off. So, pretty much the essence I got was, he obviously doesn't advise anyone sending. So anyone that was receiving letters from me, he'd be pretty much advising them, no, don't do a deal with him. He's not serious. This guy knew me he's known me for years as an agent, letting agent when I had my lettings company. So he doesn't see me, or he didn't then at least, see me as an investor or someone doing deals. And in fairness, if anything, that's more my fault than it is his, because if I'm not pushing what I'm doing and telling people what I'm doing, then they're forever going to just go off their last impression and their last memory of me. And the last memory, I think, contact I had was him when I was looking for a new office for my lettings company. He hung up the call, had the conversation. I was like, this guy's taking the piss. So people are contacting him, and he's telling them, no, don't mess with this guy. I'll give you somebody. So basically, it's an opportunity for these agents as well to make their fees, because obviously, if it's and to shun me, obviously, if the owners received a letter from me and then the owner goes, do you know this guy, just for confirmation, and he says yes, don't mess with him, then his response will be to them, oh, but I can sell it for you. I know someone that will buy it. If his response to the owner was, yes, I do know him and he can buy it, then he's unlikely to be able to make any fees from it. So there's a couple of reasons why he'd be doing that. One, he can't make fees from me if I've contacted the owner directly. And two, he obviously can make money. He can make money himself doing it. But also, anyway, and then I found out another incident just before that with another agent doing a similar thing. And then another incident. These were basically agents that knew me from my lettings days and just thought he's not an investor sort of thing. But I'd never really told anyone or pushed what I did. And that phone call that day was sort of the last strike. I thought, what the is going on around here? Are people really screwing up my deals? So then it made me think about some of the conversion I was getting. So I was thinking, hang on, I'm not getting as much conversion because people are advising people not to do deals with me because they think I can't pull it off, which is bizarre. So that same night, I went out and created a website myself using Squarespace, just volume property. The website now, I just put a few of the projects that I'm working on. So some of these sites have already been bought. I've already bought them. I own them. It's on company's house. We're about to get under construction with some of them. Some are in planning. Some are deals that we've done. I mean, I'm active out here. I invest. I've got property. But they didn't know that information because I don't put that information out there. So once I did that, I put the website out quickly. And then I'd continue sending letters. And then I don't know if the conversion improved. I'd have to check my stats and check the numbers. But I'm less likely to get that kind of response now, because even now those very same agents now know what I do, because they can look on my website and see my posts and things I put on LinkedIn and other social platforms about the specific deals I'm working on. So they can't deny it, and they know I'm active. So that helps. That helps me build credibility with others, and even the fuckers that are trying to screw me. And this wasn't the first instance, by the way. That was like one of 3 instances, and that was the final one, the final straw, in a very short period of time. We're talking within weeks, and it kind of added up to me in the last one. It's built credibility with them, but more importantly, built credibility with the people that I'm trying to buy properties from, that I'm serious, that I do deals, that I can pull them off pretty easily, and I've got experience doing so. So I've displayed some of my projects on my website. It's another reason why I put content out, just so people understand what I do a lot more, and they can see the growth. They can see the growth. The fact that I've got a lettings background in my benefits me. Now I'm an investor and developer. Again, that benefits me. But if you aren't telling people what you're doing, then you're not going to move forward. So that was another way. I didn't go back to him and say anything. I ate shit on that. Took it in, and they've actually did me a favour, because it pushed me to put even more content out and more projects out, or show more projects that I'm doing, just so people get a feel. Look, that's it. Eating shit is a necessary part of anything when you're striving for success, like I am, like you are, like most people are when you're striving for it and you're striving for more success. It's just part of the game. Sometimes you just got to suck it up, take it in. It's not always about acting out. Sometimes you got to use that as fuel sometimes. That's all I wanted to say. I've got some more updates coming anyway about my... I've got started with a new videographer. I'm starting with a new videographer to put out new content. And I've got updates about the projects I'm working on, and some new projects that are some pretty cool projects that I'm excited about. So it's all moving. Board of directors to in place now to take on some significant projects. So stay tuned. Oh yeah, like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to subscribe. We need to build up the base. We need to build up the views, and also feel free to. I've set up a text marketing list, so I can send you information about how to do deals in detail if you want to do some yourself. Join that.